Hello, welcome to Meet the Candidate, and thank you to GPAT and to Akia Thigpen for being here with us and filming this interview. And I today have the opportunity to interview Karen Kozel, who is running for the North Carolina State Senate. And Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am running for the 5th District Senate seat in North Carolina. It is comprised of all of Pitt County and all of Greene County. I have been a representative in 2013 for a year, replacing another representative that stepped down. And this time I'm running for the Senate seat. I'd love your vote. And as we go on in the interview, you're going to hear more about my platform.
Well, now, I heard a rumor that you were at a gun show yesterday.
Well, I sure was, Rusty. I was campaigning. I've campaigned on about every gun show there's been, and I promote Second Amendment. I think that in the Constitution it brings up the Second Amendment as being a rightful gun owner for property protection and for hunt.
And self-protection.
That's right, self-protection.
Yes,
that's right.
What do you learn at a gun show? What have you learned? Who have you talked to?
I talk to everybody that walks in. I ask them if they're for Pitt or Greene County, and I ask them for their vote, and we talk about gun rights, and we talk about different issues. For example, the McCloskey issue, where their house was being invaded, and they pulled out their guns to get them off their property, and now they're being taken to court for protecting their own property. And we talk about that and how we can have people in office who will not promote such behavior, and they will be able to have their guns and follow suit with what the Constitution says about gun ownership.
And I think someone told me you have 13 children?
Yes, I do.
Do your children know how to use a gun?
12 of them do. One of them doesn't.
So just a dozen of your children
Just
know
a
how
dozen. And my husband.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and me. I have
And
my
you do.
concealed. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
good.
right.
Well, now, tell me, why are you running? What attracts you to Raleigh and to the state legislature?
Well, I had thought about running for this seat in December. And when I heard about the budget being vetoed and by the governor and being supported in the veto by Don Davis, I thought it was my turn. I need to get to the Senate and practice what I preach. I've always said that we need to have conservatives in the office if we're going to turn this around. And when Phil Berger called me and asked if I would be interested in running for this seat, I agreed. And what prompted it was the budget.
Well, now, did Don Davis vote for the budget originally, or how did that work?
They had $800 million set aside in the budget for Pitt and Greene counties.
$800 million?
That's right. $800 million.
For Pitt and Greene County?
That's right. It's to refurbish and rebuild the Brody School. It's $1 million to open up the food distribution center in Ayden. We had money set aside for Bethel water treatment program, which is woefully needed, and several other entrepreneur things. Oh, one was a teacher raise. We had a 4.99% teacher raise and a $1,000 bonus. But Don Davis voted agreeing with this budget.
He agreed with the budget?
Yes, he did. And then Cooper vetoed the budget, and subsequently Don Davis sided with Cooper to veto the budget that had the biggest goodie bag for this region that has ever been.
Now, I believe his one vote was all that was needed to override the governor's veto. Is that right?
That's exactly right. He was a deciding vote.
So he basically decided
Yes.
on his own, knowing what his vote would do,
Right.
to do away with the $800 or $900 million in the budget for Pitt and Greene counties, his counties.
And it's projected that within 5 to 7 years, those investments would have given this region, this district, $1.2 billion in revenue.
Do you remember why the governor vetoed the budget?
I remember hearing that they wanted a 5% increase for teacher wages. But 4.99 plus a $1,000 bonus comes pretty close to 5%. So there's politics in there somewhere. And when that happened, I decided someone needs to come in and work for these people, work for Pitt and Greene County, and not the governor, not the party. And that's what I intend to do.
Now, you and Don Davis differ on abortion and on school choice too, don't you?
I believe we do, yes. I believe in the Democrat platform, it announces its pro-abortion stand. I do not know Don's stand on abortion, but I do know the stand of the Democrats on school choice. I am a teacher. I've been in education for 30 years, and I believe school choice should be an option for our families here in North Carolina.
Now, what is your position on abortion?
I am pro-life. I have 13 kids, and I teach them pro-life. Life is precious. It is a gift.
And protected by our Constitution.
That's exactly right.
What other differences would you say there are between you and your opponent? Do you know of any other differences? I know major difference would you would have supported the governor's the budget, and
Absolutely.
and you would have also voted to override the governor's veto.
Absolutely.
What are the other issues that you would have a difference with Don Davis?
I believe the First Amendment is quiet protesting and not looting.
Quiet protesting.
That's right. I don't think it should be looting or demolishing buildings. And I understand that Don Davis was at the Greenville protests, and I feel like that is a statement that he promotes.
Supports the rioters.
That's right, I do.
Well, certainly there has been no prominent Democrat to come out and say they oppose the destruction and the riots.
No.
But you would oppose all of that, would you?
Yes, I think when I drove down there the next day and I saw window and store looting, it was really, really a mess. And that is not protesting. And that is not part of the First Amendment.
What's your position regarding the shutdown, the continued shutdown promoted by the Democrats?
I think it's a governmental overreach. I think we've gone above and beyond. We never had flu. We've had swine flu, we had SARS, we had H1N1, we had all kinds of bird flu. We never shut down. Now we're shutting down, and we only have a less than 1.1% chance of death. It is lower than our normal flu that we get every year. So I think this is an overreach, and I think it's time to trust the citizens and let them decide. If you are elderly, if you have a suppressed immune system, if you don't feel comfortable getting out, that's fine. But I think everybody else needs to get out, open their businesses. We're not at a position after COVID, the shutdowns that we already have, to continue. And I think that needs to be addressed. I think we need to open things up again.
Do you think they will open after November the 3rd?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That week we're going to open all the stores and shops. I sure do.
So you think there's a lot of political pressure
Yes.
from somewhere
Yes.
to keep these businesses closed.
Yes. If you notice, it's the Democratic states, the ones that have a Democrat governor, that are still closing. South Carolina, open. Georgia, open.
Now, Karen, let me ask you, do you know why the governor, or what kind of reasoning the governor would use to close a small business that's locally owned, a small hardware store, yet allow Target and Walmart to open? Is there any reason why he would do that?
Yeah, is there? I do not understand that at all. And they allow a lot of people in those stores too. It's like 250, 260. And small stores usually don't have more than 2 or 3 customers at a time. But they are the backbone of this community. We have to have our small stores open back up. We have to have these local businesses. They employ lots of people in our community.
Do you know why they would, the Democrats seem to be able to attend most any funeral they'd like to attend, but the average person out here cannot attend funerals? Do you know if there's a treatment that's different?
I think it's very curious that rioters can stand shoulder to shoulder, but you can't go to a funeral.
Or
That
you can't
go to church. Right, right. I think that is a very telling statement for our state that we need to be paying attention to when we go vote. The Democrats support Cooper, and Cooper supports shutdown, even to the point of being unnecessary, I believe.
Tell me, what about schools and school-aged children?
I've been in education for 30 years, and I am a homeschooler currently, but I also taught in Durham County for several years. I cannot imagine the social and the educational impact this is going to have for our children for years to come. I have 8 kids right now in universities, colleges. They're shut down. They are doing most of their learning online still. And I think that is unnecessary. I think we need to be in schools, and if you're sick, stay home, just like the regular flu. And I think we need to take the precautions, wear a mask if you are feeling ill, and keep somewhat social distancing. But I do think that we are compromising our own immune system by not being out and about. So, and I think school choice should pass. I think we need to have school choice for parents. If you want to homeschool, private school, there are so many options in the public schools now. I also think we need to add vocational ed. I know you're not bringing that up right now, but I think we need to have a high school, and they did this years ago, but junior year you offer car repair, preschool education, welding, plumbing, all these careers that are much needed in our community. And then the senior year you offer apprenticeships, and the people that graduate in welding have an apprenticeship with a local welder.
Just go over to Robert's Welding and
That's right.
and attain an apprenticeship.
And then get your certificate, and you can graduate and have a job rather than have to go to a junior college and
They
get
could
these
go
careers.
Work with a local electrician
That's
or
right.
electric company.
That's right.
That's a good idea.
I
Now, Karen, where did you go to school?
went to Bunn High School, and then I went to Carolina. I went to UNC Chapel Hill
UNC Chapel Hill.
and got an education degree.
Did you meet your husband there?
We not in college. We both had already graduated. I was teaching, and he was an engineer at the time.
And now he's a medical doctor, is
Yes,
that right?
he is. He went back to school and finished his medical training completely at 45. So he was a hard worker.
He sure was.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, when it comes to business owners and local entrepreneurs.
Right.
What's your word for them? What do you have to say to them?
I support these local businesses. That's what America is. And I think we need to give them the same tax advantage that we do the large businesses.
And you think that they should, if anyone is going to open, everyone should be treated the same. Is that what I hear you saying?
Absolutely.
And if anyone is going to be closed by the government,
Everybody should be closed.
everybody should be
Yes.
closed.
And I think we're having preferential treatment, like you said earlier, over the more popular and larger businesses. And I think that that is not fair, essentially.
Generally speaking, small business people vote Republican,
Yes, they do.
and that's been proven across the nation.
Right.
And it's the small business people who are being closed. Is that correct?
Yes. Sounds fishy.
It does. The budget would have helped Brody School.
Yes.
The budget that Don Davis failed
243
to
million.
uphold.
That's right. That's right.
Although he voted for it to begin with, he failed to uphold it. And
Correct.
could have just with his one vote.
That's right.
What would it
He was the
have?
turn vote.
Do you know what it would have done for Brody School?
It would have. They're going to build a brand new school. They're going to put all new equipment. They're going to double or triple the number of students that could attend. This school needs this updated equipment. These doctors. We'd have more physicians in the area. We'd have more professors. They're needed at the college. A lot more para jobs, secretaries and janitors. I mean, you think of a job, this school would have employed those people.
And the Brody School building was built, what, 45 years ago or so?
Yes.
Maybe 50?
It was almost 50, yes.
Almost 50 years.
Yes.
So it would have replaced that building
That's right. That's right.
And-
And made it larger
and made it larger.
and updated everything.
And those doctors who have graduated from Brody have been required to practice in North Carolina, haven't they?
I think so, but not every modality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, regarding the state budget, the budget provided for opportunity scholarships, didn't it?
It did. Yes.
And tell me about opportunity scholarships, Karen, if you will.
Opportunity scholarships are for those people who cannot afford college but would like to go and score well and really could benefit from the education that they're getting to improve their quality of life and that of their families.
Are you familiar with 3rd Street School here?
Very, yes.
They have students who have benefited from paying the private tuition through opportunity scholarship.
That's right. Skip Stam is a huge proponent of this scholarship program.
And you are too, is
Yes,
that right?
I am. Yes, I am.
Now, what would happen if that, I think the governor is opposed to those scholarships, and
That's
the
right.
Democrat Party that is wedded to the teachers' unions,
Right, right.
they are opposed to these scholarships. Is that correct?
I understand that to be true, yes.
And do you know whether you would expand that concept or whether you would leave it the same, or what would you do?
Especially in my district, I think we need to expand that concept. You know, I think that's hand in hand with the voc ed of the public schools we already have. I think we need to give more opportunities to more people that don't have that opportunity at their fingertips. So I think I would expand it.
Now, just go ahead.
I would expand community health centers too. I think we have a couple here in town. I know there's a large one down in Lenore County, and I think it's underused. And I think and I've talked to several people that are part of that community, and they agree that could be used more efficiently and effectively for a lower cost treatment with the same value as going to a private physician.
Now, you have served in the North Carolina State House, have you not?
Yes. 10th
now,
District.
And now you are running for the North Carolina State Senate.
Yes.
And it's Karen Kozel.
Right.
And you know that the Senate has, what, 50 members?
52.
52 members.
Right.
And so you would have a lot of influence, a lot of impact on the state.
That's right.
In the state Senate. Are there any programs that, anything that you would promote yourself that you think are needed in this state?
I think we need a reform in our education system. I think we need to revisit what Common Core teaches and rid ourselves of a program that's a national program. In the Constitution, education is a state issue. And I know states have opted out of Common Core, but North Carolina has not. And I think we need to address that. I think we should vote in school choice in North Carolina so people have the opportunity to go to the choice that they feel is best for their child. I also would like to promote a growing economy. Give these business owners a tax break and encourage their growth in this area especially. I would like to encourage agriculture. Since I was working on a farm, I know that lifestyle, and I think that is a lifestyle and a promotion of farmers that is, because it's our #1 resource in North Carolina, I think it's very important that we support agriculture. So I have agriculture and education and basic economy. We need to get back working, and we need to get our unemployment down and our prosperity up.
There are two very successful states, Florida and Tennessee,
Right.
and Texas and other states do not have an income tax.
Right.
Would you explore the possibility of doing away with the income tax in North Carolina?
I think that's an option. We tend to be a very wealthy state compared to a lot of the other ones, so we are sustained by what we have. You know, we started out with $3 million in the coffers, so we weren't devastated by COVID. And I think that we are, so far we've had very wise people in our government as monetarily, as far as doing with the economy. And I would probably support no state tax.
And the state Senate's controlled by the Republicans, isn't it?
Correct.
And the state House is also, is that correct?
I'd have to look at that right now. I know that a few have stepped out, so
And
I'd have to look.
Karen, you would strengthen their position.
Absolutely.
And I believe it was their budgets in the previous years that have been able to accumulate this surplus.
They sure have. Under McCrory, he was very good at budgeting, I will tell you that. So that's
And you are running in the same election as the Republican candidate for governor.
yes. I worked for Dan Forrest over his last 2 campaigns. I was his surrogate when he couldn't make an event. I would speak for him. I'm still cheering for him
And
in this
told me,
county.
Yeah, and you told me you introduced him yesterday at Simply Natural Creamery in Greene County.
That's right. Then Saturday, and I
Saturday.
And on Saturday I gave my platform. There was a huge crowd, about 400 people were there,
Wow.
and Dan spoke and gave his platform. So,
And Dan Forrest, who is the Republican candidate for lieutenant governor? Do you remember him?
yeah, I do. Mark Robinson.
Mark
Excellent.
Robinson.
Excellent choice.
And he is a black man
Yes,
and a long-time Republican,
that's right. That's right.
and very much for the Second Amendment.
Absolutely. Yes.
And he's running with Dan Forrest.
Yes. Yes.
Regarding the black community, what would you have to say to them about what the Republican Party offers them?
I think the Republican Party has been very fair to the black community. I think there's been a lot of misinformation given out, like about different KKK that was developed by the Democrats That was not a, Margaret Sanger was a Democrat. And Margaret Sanger, as you know, is the one that introduced the promotion of abortion.
And eugenics.
And eugenics, that's right. And that was a knock on the black culture and their population. She pointed to abort specifically black babies. It's terrible. And I feel like if people knew, in these riots, they're only 2% black now. It's white socialists.
Antifa.
Antifa. And as Dan Forrest says, they're Marxist. And we need to veer away from those people. They're not supporting Black Lives Matter. They're supporting a government change. And that's entirely different.
Maybe they want to take us to Venezuela or Cuba.
No, thank you. I've
Well,
got a great
Kozel,
friend.
Karen Kozel, tell us in closing remarks a little more about things I haven't asked you. I don't know that I've asked you everything that you'd like to say. And just tell the voters why they should vote for you.
You should vote for me for a clear choice. I'm going to do what I say. I have 13 kids. I know how to operate a business. I have had an opportunity to operate a business that had 150 children in it. I had to keep books and I had to keep regular notes for my board. Don Davis was a mayor, and he had numerous times that he was late, very, very late on turning in his notes and his budgets. And I will promise you, I will do all things all the way, the right way. I am a conservative, I am a Christian, and I am a constitutionalist. And if you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. My website is KarenKozel.com.
And does your campaign headquarters have a phone number?
Yes, it's 252-286-7015.
And so give us your website again.
Karen Kozel, KarenKozel.com. And I would love to have you help. You can pass out signs, you can make calls, you can walk streets, neighborhoods, and promote my candidacy. I am in this not for the Republicans, but for you, my constituents. I'm working for Pitt and Greene counties, for our prosperity and our safety.
Well, thank you very much.
You bet. Thank
and
you.
I want to say again, thanks to GPAT
Yes.
and Akia
Yeah.
Thigpen for providing this opportunity for you to speak to the people of Pitt County and Greene County.
Right.
And to solicit their vote for Karen Kozel for the North Carolina State Senate, which is
District 5.
Senate District 5.
Right.
Karen, it's been a pleasure to talk with you today. We appreciate you running, and we certainly hope that you win.
Thank you.
Thank you.